What's up guys, it's me Jeremy. The patch 5.2 notes were released a lot sooner than I expected, by about 1 to 2 weeks actually, but anyways, they're out now, so I'll be going over all the major changes that occurred to give you my rundown and analysis. Let's get started. The first and biggest change of patch 5.2 is the removal of Deathfire Grasp. I won't go into this one too much since I already made a fairly extensive video on the topic, which will be linked in the outro. In addition, Riot is finally rolling out their fix for crowd control buffering about a week after patch 5.2 has gone live. This is going to allow you to effectively chain crowd control targets without any input buffering of the like, which removes a core high-level mechanic from the game. It's pretty significant and a very nice change as well, but it was supposed to come out in patch 5.1, so I did talk about it more extensively in my last patch rundown. Also, there's actually some pretty significant champion changes this patch that actually coincide heavily with the Deathfire Grasp removal. Pretty much every popular assassin was nerfed. Akali, Fizz, and Zed all received reasonable nerfs that hit their kits quite well, but definitely do not make them unplayable, and I personally think that they will still be pretty strong. In addition, Tristana did get a visual update as well as a very tiny rework. Most of her kit is the same with the exception of some nerfs to her scaling range, base stats, and AP ratios, but a major change to her E. Instead of being a damage over time, it now operates on a charge system that detonates after 4 seconds or if you rocket jump on the target. It does pretty decent damage and gives her significantly higher burst in lane, and it's also castable on towers too, so that's pretty cool. Also, Rek'Sai received some more nerfs to her base damages. Ahri received some small changes and small stat increases, but had the damage amplification of her charm nerfed, and so overall Ahri was nerfed quite a bit, although I think she will still be pretty decent. There were some more changes to champions, but that covers all the major ones. For item changes, there were a few. The first upgrade to jungle items now costs 100 more gold, which is actually huge, since you can't get the upgrade itself off of a first blood or from doing a camp, a buff, and then backing. It's a really significant change and hurts the early snowballing of junglers, as well as no longer rewards you as much for backing after doing your first buff. This will likely have a pretty reasonable effect on jungle routes in the early game, and is a small nerf to junglers who take a lot of damage in the jungle early on, since it's not really as beneficial for them to back early now. And Giant's Belt as well now builds from Ruby Crystal, which is a pretty big buff to the item since the stats remained unchanged, as well as Hextech Gunblade now has 5 less AD, 2% less lifesteal, but 15 more ability power, which overall I think is a buff, and we'll likely see it being bought a little bit more often. And lastly, Zero Hour Portal had some minor changes, lowering the base stats of the minions, but increasing the scaling of them. And we have a few minor changes that are worth noting as well. The first being that wards once again disappear at the normal rate when they are placed, so it will be much harder to kill them like before, which is a pretty nice change to be honest. I think it was way too easy to kill the wards earlier. In addition, the Nemesis draft game mode will not be out with the patch, but it's going to be coming soon. It's a game mode where you draft your opponent's champions for them, and they draft your champions for you, and then you play each other. I streamed a little bit of it on PBE, but it wasn't too overwhelming, I have to say. And lastly, the audio settings did change a bit and will be reset to default values, so be sure to update your audio settings once the patch goes live. And lastly, I've been informed by my Rioter friend, Riot Draggles, that the Spell Shield fix will not be released in patch 5.2 and will likely make it to patch 5.3, so for now, as far as I'm aware, the Spell Shields in the game are still bugged. And that just about covers all of the major changes in today's patch. My name is Jeremy and that's it for my video on patch 5.2. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button so I can tell, and be sure to check me out over on all the socials of which you can see on your screen. And if you really enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe for some more awesome content in the future, or check out some of my other videos on your screen as well. And above all else, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.